Hey everybody, this is Jana with Yama Mamas, and I'm doing a live video this week because I didn't get to publish my video on Monday, and I have been reading and studying for my midwifery studies. I'm here in my camper if you guys want to check it out in Battleground, Washington. Anyways, I just finished this book. Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. I hope that actually shows up in the correct direction because I'm seeing a mirror image. But I wanted to give a quick review on this book and share with you guys why this is really, I would say, the best book for anyone to read if you are pregnant or if you are a birth worker. I just finished reading this for the second time this week. And you need to know that this is a really good book because there's so many books out there for pregnancy and birth and what you need to know and learning and all of this. And this is the second time I've read this book, Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. And it just makes me so happy because she really explains normal childbirth. There's stories in here. The first half of the book is just stories of birth from the farm in Tennessee, where Ina May, who is a midwife, she's one of the most famous midwives in the United States. She has all these women that she helped birth tell their stories of their own birth, and it's a great way to understand the normalness of birth and the variety of birth experiences, so that it becomes like, oh, like I understand what it's like. So I recommend this to every client that I've had, and I don't know if they've read it because there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm teaching to my clients, but if you guys read this book, you will get everything you need to know about birth and understanding the spiritual side of birth. That's one thing I really love about Ina May, because she explains how this is more than just this physical medical event. She explains how this is something that is emotional and romantic and relational, and and that we can talk to our bodies because God created us to have authority over our bodies, and that our psyche matters and our emotions matter in our birth experience. And that's what I love about this book, is that it really integrates all of that. And it also explains in the back, it explains the physical process as well of birth and how our bodies work, and it also explains all of the medical testing and all these different tests that we get, and it tells you what those are and why they do them, which is really important because we often don't actually understand that information when we go to an OB. They just say take this test or that test, but we don't know what it means. Or even with midwives, we don't always understand what that means. So it's really not that long of a book. I think it's like 350 pages. And it has all the information you really need to know and understand. And it's a good read. It's like fun to read. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you, read this for the second time, loved it, learned more things this time than last time. I still recommend it as the #1 book for anyone to get if they're going to be birthing a child. I want to read you a few quotes from it, just so you can hear some of what Ina May is talking about. So these are my favorite quotes from the book here. So on this is actually in the introduction. There were really good things. So wherever and however you intend to give birth, your experience will impact your emotions, your mind, your body, and your spirit for the rest of your life. This is why it's important to learn about this, and it's important to have support and help. So the next page says, one of the best kept secrets in North American culture is that birth can be ecstatic and strengthening. Yes, we need to hear this because we're all so afraid of birth. So, in this book just explains all of that. So, let me find my other quotes here. I thought I marked them. Yeah, okay. So, this is on page 141. Most women need encouragement and companionship during birth more than they need drugs. This is so true. I've helped so many women as a doula to get through birth without drugs. Now, some want drugs or need drugs, and that's okay, but majority of women, most women, need encouragement and companionship, and this book teaches about that. So I'm really, I'm really advocating for this book. It has no benefit to me to advocate for this book. I'm just trying to share this because I want you guys to get a different view of childbirth for yourself if you're going to be birthing, and for birth workers to understand, to read this and get this spiritual aspect of birth as well that's so important. And then this is on page 289. I love this quote. She says, when cesarean is elective with no emergency present, the woman's chance of dying from the procedure itself is nearly 3 times that of non-surgical birth. Like, we don't know that. We're just like, whatever the doctor says to do, do it. And we don't know that there's risks, like real risks in real life to this, to, cesarean surgery. And so anyways, she gives a lot of good information about interventions, about induction, and all the different, procedures and even different kinds of cesarean and what to avoid. And, it's just really helpful to know this information because we're not being told it in, everyday life or from our doctors or from our culture or from the media. So this information is so good. Let me see if I have any other quotes here to share with you. Anyways, the reason I'm sharing this with you today is because I feel like it is really important information. This is the #1 book I would recommend reading about birth if you're considering being a birth worker or if you're pregnant and going to have a baby. It is so informative and really brings in the emotional, spiritual aspect to understand holistic childbirth in a way that is empowering and honoring and worth enjoying. And I want you guys to have that experience. I want everyone to have the experience that birth was meant to be, because we are created to enjoy birth. It's a part of love and reproduction and family and human life, and it's not meant to be scary or traumatic or this bad thing that people experience in their life. And so I want all of you guys to have that experience, and this is one way to start to do that. And Katie and I are making videos and trying to empower you all in that too. And this is one of those videos just to tell you that this book is so good. If you were to only read one book in all of pregnancy and birth, this would be the one to read. I highly recommend it. And yeah, so read this book. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to put a link to this in the description just so you can find it easily online. If you guys have not read the whole thing, I know it's easy to get stuck halfway in between. It's easy to read the stories in the front and not finish it in the back, but you gotta finish the back, especially if you're a birth worker. And if you're pregnant, and especially if you're going to a hospital, you need to read the second half as well. That really gives the information around birth and how our bodies work and how our minds work, and with all the procedures and all of that, how those impact us. It's really important to read the whole book. You will learn a lot. So, love you guys.